This episode is brought to you by Farmers Insurance. When was the last time you reviewed your insurance policy? So it's been a while, huh? Well, no worries. My friends at the Austin Brummett Agency would love to hear from you and provide you with some amazing rates. Give them a call at 678-402-8262 or email them at abrummett@farmersagent.com. That's ABRUMIT at farmersagent.com, and tell them Harley sent you. Insiders, Inside the Bubble with Harley G is now sponsored by BetterHelp. As a partner of this episode, listeners can access the BetterHelp link located in the show notes to receive 10% off your first month of therapy with BetterHelp and get matched with a therapist who will listen and help. Go to BetterHelp, that is BetterHelp.com/inside the bubble, the link to get started. You're listening to Inside the Bubble with Harley G, the podcast for the superwoman. Every week, we connect with amazing individuals who share their inspirational experiences and stories while motivating and inspiring purpose. It's time to hang your cape. Grab your coffee, your water, your cocktail, and come on in Inside the Bubble with me, your host, Harley G. Welcome, insiders, to Inside the Bubble with Harley G. Today, I have, back by popular demand, at least that's what I say. We have Aisha is back. Yay! Hello. Awesome. I know. Really excited, and she's all pinked out on the heels of literally last day of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. There's been many activities going on around town, in the community. So I hope you all were able to participate in those activities. And I probably mentioned before that my mother is a breast cancer survivor. And so this is something that is near and dear to me. Hi, Mom. I don't even think she listens. But anyway, and my best friend's mother is also a breast cancer survivor. So this has impacted so many people, and it feels like as you're having conversation with people, you're finding out just how many people it has, like everywhere, how it impacts so many people. And so today we are, well, first I want to thank Aisha for coming on to talk about this important subject, and also for your vulnerability and putting yourself out there and talking about your personal story and how it has impacted you, your life, your family. So that want to start with that first. But Aisha, why are you so vested in this particular arena?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Thank you for having me back.
Yay!
Hopefully you all are tuning in and subscribing. Yes. I know the podcast world is all about that. So please make sure to subscribe. So for me, it was a story, of course, that came to me. It was very personal. My sister had breast cancer and had it twice. And
Twice?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Wow. Had it twice. And she unfortunately passed away at a very young age, and ever since then I channeled that hurt into really promoting breast cancer awareness, and in particular breast cancer around young women of color, and to be a healthcare advocate for yourself overall, even if it's not just breast cancer, but being an advocate for yourself, for your health. So that's why I'm all in. I'm fully in.
Yes. All in, tea party, breast cancer.
Whole thing. Whole thing. Okay? And,
I love it.
You know, I recognize that it's important. I wear pink every day in the month of October intentionally. So people ask because I want to start that conversation. I believe that fashion, a lot of times you can be a billboard, a walking billboard for these kind of things.
Yes.
And so that's really why I go over the top. Most people think I'm an AKA because I'm a pink. And I say that's great, but I definitely fully believe in breast cancer, recognizing that men can get breast cancer too.
Yes, absolutely.
That people don't know about.
Yep.
But pink is, of course, a celebratory of women, and so that's why I do it. So again, I've been doing it now, gosh, for 25 years, just wearing pink every day in the month of October, which happens to be my birthday month as well.
Yes. So you have all of that in like 1 month.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just all of that. She's already Miss Atlanta, so I don't know how she's squeezing all of that.
Don't believe the hype from Harli.
Okay, first of all, I'm the hype woman. Okay, that's what I do. It's my job. Okay. Anyway, I'm just going to be walking around Atlanta. If you see a woman, a little figure behind Aisha around Atlanta with pom-poms walking behind her, that is me. That is I. Okay. Just, that goes Harli. Right behind Aisha. Anyway, so, okay. So tell me, I want to learn more and hear more about your upbringing and the dynamic between you and your sister and how that was.
Absolutely. So my mother's married twice, so I'm a part of a second marriage.
Okay.
And my mom, of course, my sister was from the first marriage. And so my sister and I are 13 years apart.
Wow.
And so I know.
Okay.
So my sister was more like my mother than a sister until we got a little bit older.
Yes.
So I always looked up to her. I just thought she was the best thing smoking. She was truly the extrovert. I am the introvert in extrovert clothing. Yes, she was the person that loved theater. She would put together plays even at a very young age.
And you grew up where?
I grew up,
so the listeners.
Grew up in Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a shame. She just wanted to ask that so she could say it all incorrectly for all of my
actually just came up with it on the spur of the moment. I'm really proud of myself. But anyway.
So yes, we grew up in Mississippi. Now she was born in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Oh,
which is where my mother and her first husband lived.
Okay.
So she is from Michigan, but of course grew up later after the second marriage in Mississippi.
Okay. And
my family, of course, when I say my family, my father's family really took my sister in. To be honest with you, I didn't know any different until maybe late elementary is when I found out she had a different father. And I was like, what is this?
Okay.
What does this even mean?
Okay.
So, but anyway, of course, she's my sister, and we grew up together. She went to Texas Southern. For undergrad and majored in engineering.
Wow.
I know. And that's where she met her then husband from Texas Southern as well.
Okay.
He was an engineering major.
All right.
And so they did their thing, had children, lived out in Wichita, Kansas.
Wichita.
Right.
Oh
and
my
shout
goodness.
out to the Kansas folks. So they moved out there because of Boeing, which is a huge company there, and he was in engineering. Funny story though, she ended up not becoming an engineer. She ended up becoming a teacher in the public school system. When she recognized, I think she started off just substitute teaching for fun while she was looking for a job, and recognized that she had an innate talent to teach math, in particular to children of color. And so really switching it around for them to have the interest in math
and understanding.
And she just loved it. She loved it. Very fun fact, she taught.
Oh, calling me bad?
Yes.
Stop it.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. She taught them, and she taught H-Town.
What?
When I tell you,
my
I was in love with H-Town.
So I feel like you should reach out to them and say, listen, y'all owe me. Right. The reason why, partly, you are famous
is because of my sister.
So I need my rights. I need my dividends.
I know, right? So,
seriously? Oh my God.
Seriously.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay. You all know the jam. So,
yes. Okay.
So she, did that for many years. And then after she had my nephew, she noticed that she had a lump in her breast.
And how old is she by that
At that point, I'm going to guess, I could get this wrong, but I'm thinking she was 28, 29.
Wow.
So
very young.
Very young.
Yeah.
And went to the doctor. and was diagnosed with cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think it was just shocking for all of us, because talking about cancer at that age
yes.
is just, especially breast cancer, because I don't even think then it was 40. I think it was 50 before you actually had a
that could be very true. Yeah. I actually remember an episode. This is crazy, but I remember an episode of 90210. Okay, yes, I'm dating myself. Some of y'all probably don't have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, Shannon Doherty. It was actually an episode on 90210 about her finding something.
Yeah.
Did the self check or whatever, and her finding something, and then just them going through that journey of. But I remember that because, of course, in the show, she's so young, and you typically don't really develop awareness of that until you're about 50. Absolutely. So, yes, you are correct.
Yes, because I remember that. And she went, and I don't remember all things, but I think they kind of pushed it off. Of course, they said, it's probably just it's definitely a tumor, but I'm sure everything is fine. And then
did she follow? Like, did she get follow-ups testing?
She got follow-ups, but she was very much an advocate for herself, and she did her own research, and so she attached with who is a nonprofit that I love dearly, is American Cancer Society. Because of American Cancer Society, I don't think she would have been as aggressive as she was about taking care of her health.
Got it.
Because the wonderful thing about that organization is that they make sure that their doctors and their people, the money that you give goes to that community. And so she had a healthcare advocate. She had someone that would go with her to her appointments. And so anyway, she was diagnosed at that point, I believe, with stage 3.
Wow.
Stage 2 to stage 3. Yes.
Okay. And just to give the listeners, perspective, like stage 3, like there's stage 4 after that, and that's it. Like that's as bad. Like for instance, Chadwick Boseman, when he was diagnosed, he was stage 4.
Yes.
And so that just kind of just to put some perspective on it, it. And did they say that this is something? Like, did it happen fast, or maybe this is something that when she noticed, that's the stage that it had progressed to?
Once she noticed, it's hard to tell. I don't know if right away when she felt the lump, she went to the doctor. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I would hope so, but my thought process is, and as I'm talking, I hope she hears and drops something from the sky.
Drop us a sign.
Drop us a sign.
Exactly.
My inkling is that she waited a little while.
Yeah.
And then when she got there, it was at
it's
stage
like
3.
We gotta move. Okay.
And of course, during that time, that process, even though advancements have made, is very invasive. She had both her breasts removed.
Okay.
Because she just wanted both of them removed. She didn't want to be concerned with the other one just in case. And she went through radiation and all of that and lost her hair. As many of you all may know, if you know someone that has had cancer or gone through this process. And then it was quiet for a while.
So what's a while? Good. Like a year?
Probably
couple
about
of years?
2 years. 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Yep. It was quiet. And then around maybe her mid-30s, I'm going to say 32. Not even mid, I'm sorry. 32, 33 is when it came back to her brain.
What?
And so if you know anything about cancer, and pardon me for anyone that may be a physician listening, you try to cut it off as much as you can, but there are things that can still feed that cancerous tumor, and it'll just find a new place to set up shop. Okay. And so for this, that it came back to the brain, and so we all know, when it goes to the brain, it's very quick. At that time, I was in college. I was actually in my senior year, and she had gone through a lot of therapy, and then of course when that tumor happened and became really aggressive, it was about 2 months before my graduation. I had no clue that she was as sick as she was, because I'm in the throes of being a college student and just moving and grooving, and we probably had talked maybe a month prior, so I'm not sure, maybe it was even longer. So
you had not seen her since this second round of
had not physically seen her since the brain tumor came back. Right. Okay. And I'll back up a little bit. Even before that happened, I think she, looking back, I think she may have known, like, something's not right. This is probably for the diagnosis with the tumor, but I was living in Spain right in that senior year. And
wait.
I know, right? I did a study abroad, you all. I was living in Spain. Yes.
Can you speak Spanish? Ladies, I know there's so much to do and not enough time in the day. Trust me, I'm right there with you. But what are you doing for yourself? Well, I've recently discovered Body Bar Pilates. Let me tell you a little bit about it. Body Bar Pilates will challenge all of your major muscle groups and provide you with a full body workout. Wow. Listen, I had to check it out. I took a class with Sherelle and it was amazing. They have workouts for all skill levels, whether you're just starting out or you're just looking for a new way to move your body. This is the community for you. Check out my friends at Body Bar Pilates East Cobb or give them a call at 678-941-4371. And don't forget to mention me, Harli G.
Well, I could. So please don't ask me now. If you don't use it, you lose it. Okay, people. I spoke it. I have people that can confirm. It is not fake news.
Okay.
So
I did
a study abroad in Spain. It stayed a little too long. But anyway, my sister had never traveled abroad. And she was just like, I'm going. And that's not like her. And so looking back, I think she knew. I think she knew.
Yeah.
And so she came and she said, I want to say it was like 2 weeks, something just uncanny. But we had the best time, and that was the last time I saw her well.
Yes.
And and so fast forward, I come back from Spain. September 11th happens.
What?
Literally, I come back from Spain in August. September 11th happened. The plane leaves from Boston.
Which you were living there, by the way. So let's also put that in perspective.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
There in Boston. We had lost some classmates. A dear friend of mine lost her father. And so that happened. So that's a whole 60, 90 days that we're trying to find people that were missing. January hits, the new year, and then that's when my sister started progressing and not doing well. I didn't know. Then I come home, it might have been around February because my dad called me. He said, I really think you should come home because, her name was Jafrina. Jafrina's not doing well. And so, I'm like, okay, well, maybe she's just not feeling well.
And did she move back to?
She had just decided to come.
Okay.
To come.
Got it.
I think maybe in her mind, she knew that this might be the end. And so for her, I came home and that's when I saw like,
how did she? This
is probably gonna not go well.
Okay.
She was comprehensive, but not fully. Very much like an 80-year-old person, just deteriorating mentally, couldn't remember things, forgetful, needing help, getting up, sitting down. And I just remember being like, what the hell happened?
I was with her a few months ago.
Ago. What?
Yes.
Just what, why, who, know. And so we're all just trying to negotiate this. My mom, dad, me. I go back to school because I have to graduate in June. And let's see, right before June, May, the first week of May, my father calls and says, I don't think she's going to make it. And I'm just bummed, okay? Because this has been a year of just
trauma, chaos.
So much trauma.
Yeah.
And so, I fly to Kansas, and by the time I get there, she had passed. So young, 35, 2 young kids, a husband. What do you mean? She was fine. I was angry at God. I was angry at my parents for not telling me. I was just angry. You know how they talk about the stages of grief. Just angry. I just need to find somebody to be angry at. So for anyone who, has lost a loved one, I hope that you feel comfort in knowing that however long you were angry, that's just a part
It's okay.
Of it.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah. So you have to go back and graduate, right?
Because this happened 2 weeks later.
Wow.
2 weeks later, I go back and graduate. A dear friend of mine, like I said, who had lost her father in 9/11, just couldn't believe it. We literally couldn't believe that this was the world now. And So that was just a flash. I don't even really fully remember graduation. I had little pockets of memory because it was just you're on autopilot, trying to just kind of make it through. And again, I think I held anger for, gosh, maybe 5 years.
Wow.
5 years of just being mad at my mother, mad for not telling me, mad at my dad, for not sharing, mad at my brother-in-law for just being him, nothing that he had done, right?
Yeah.
And so that's, I think when I left, because I stayed at Northeastern and worked for a little while, then I moved to Atlanta, and I think I'm trying to remember what the incident was, but I couldn't stop crying. I would be at work and I just anything on the news, just anything, crying. And a dear friend of mine said, you might want to think about some grief counseling or taking some. I'm like, no, I'm fine. She said, no, if you feel like you're crying every day, I thought I had reasons in my head, then it's probably time. And that was the best thing I could have ever. The best thing I could have ever been gifted with was therapy.
Wow.
Yeah, the best thing.
But okay, so you went through 5 years of anger.
Pure anger. Anger at everybody. Anger at hospitals, doctors,
just
anybody.
It was anybody that you could blame it on. That was
I could think of, because I just couldn't get it. Like why
you
so young?
Yes.
Why lead young kids? I couldn't reconcile why. Even though I believed in God, and I went to church, I still was just like, why?
Just
angry.
Give
very
me
angry.
a reason that something that I can hold on to that will shed some light on why this situation happened. Right.
Yeah. She was healthy. She ate well. She was young. She worked out. She was nice. Why her?
Did you think that? Did you blame yourself?
Let's see. Did I ever? I think after the anger, for sure. I think I blame myself, not of what happened to her, but definitely blame myself for being so mad at people. I mean, I gave my mom business. God bless her. I just was so taken aback with, her not sharing what was going on, but then not realizing she was grieving too.
Yeah.
As you get older, you're like, everyone's
that's her daughter.
That's her daughter,
it's
right?
like, yeah.
So I felt horrible afterwards. Like, oh my gosh, I was just so mean to her. Same for my brother-in-law. He had to raise kids on his own without their mother. And how dare I be angry with him? I mean, not how dare I, but I just felt bad for feeling that way.
Did you and your mom eventually really sit down and have a conversation?
We did.
Okay.
Very much later. I think she had to go through her journey of being able to talk about it. For many years she did it. For many years she didn't even bring up my sister's name because I think it was just so hard for her. But we finally sat down and I said, we're doing this thing together. We're grieving together and it's going to be okay. And I apologized to her for just being just mean.
Yeah.
And she accepted that, and I'm very of that today.
What do you think was the hardest for her? I mean, because there's, I have a daughter, and I can't imagine going through that. I can't even call it pain at this point.
I know.
It's and to be taken as such. No parents ever thinks that they will bury a child.
Absolutely.
Ever, right? And so it's just to think of my little terrorist daughter, because she is a terrorist, but just to think of my little terrorist daughter, not being here anymore. That's something that I can't put into words. I can't imagine. I just can't, right? So it's
I think her faith was tested. She's very much a woman of faith. And I know that her faith was tested. I know she too was very angry to just see your child get better.
Yes.
And then, just deteriorate. Right. So I think for her, it was definitely a test of faith. I found her get very serious about her faith after Jafrina passed. And I think that's what, to be honest with you, I think that's what keeps her together. I think that's what holds her together. There used to be even times, speaking of what you're talking about, losing a daughter, I would try to be careful not to do anything because I was like, she can't lose another daughter.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I would like not go on flights. I'm like, I'll just drive.
Yeah.
Or let me be very careful.
Yes. Let me be very, extremely cautious.
Extremely cautious.
Yes.
Because I would just think, okay, that would definitely just take her over the top.
Right.
So it's just interesting how the people that are left behind, how they
it impacts them. And yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I don't know when I first joined with the American Cancer Society. I want to say it was in 2022 after I graduated because I just needed some outlet to go. I needed an outlet. I was still in Boston while I was having a great time and kind of keeping my mind off things. I needed that. And so, I got really involved with volunteering. I would do the walks. I would gather a team. I would, take cancer survivors to their appointments. I would do all kind of stuff. And then I one day found an article because I didn't even mention this. My sister had volunteered with the American Cancer Society as well because of course she had been making that connection.
Right.
And I saw that she had hosted a tea in an article.
Oh!
I had no idea. I just found it in the local newspaper where she lived in Wichita. And it was called the Sisters Tea.
Oh!
And so I thought, I could do this. This is something that I could do to honor her. And this is years after volunteering.
Yes.
And so that's what birthed the breast cancer tea that I do every October.
On your birthday. And let me tell you something. It was a very, very good turn.
Very fun event.
We turned up. Okay. We represent. Okay. Yes. That's all I have to say. So.
Yes. So that's what I do now in honor. And it's interesting, I have an old mentor, and I don't even know if she knew she was a mentor for me at the time. When I was an orientation leader, her name was Caro. So if you're listening, Caro, at any moment.
We're going to send you a link to the podcast.
Yes.
Okay.
She was our orientation leader. And after I had become an orientation leader, we still stayed connected in Northeastern, of course. And then she knew of my sister's passing. And I said to her, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. And she said, you're going to make it. She said, death is like that wound that you have that if you touch it, right, it heals. But if you touch it, it hurts. If you bump into it, it hurts. But it's always there with you. But sometimes it reminds you of maybe even a moment. Maybe you cut yourself because you were dancing and you fell down. But it's always there with you. So it doesn't go away, but it gets better. And for some reason, I just always remembered that. People probably gave me tons of advice, along the way, but that always stuck with me. And also, I recognize that life is so precious, and so it's important to live purposeful. Yes, it's important to be intentional. I don't think the feeling of grief ever goes away, but you can channel it into something that's purposeful or intentional. And I think that's why I'm so live your life. Yes. Live your life. Because I saw someone lose it so quickly. So, yeah.
I think that I might have mentioned this before, but I'm just in awe of you, of how you come along, women of color, and just support them. And you're just you're kind of that person, you're not gonna be able to shake off Aisha. No. Okay. No, not at all. You're not. Once she has set her sights on you, it's almost a little bit kind of stalkish. Right, but it's which is funny because I said I was gonna stalk her. Right. But anyway, but maybe it's the other way around. But it's the intensity of how you support other women. Yeah. It's I'm about to cuss. It's damn. I'm so sorry about that. But that's how it feels. And I know there are some listeners who know Aisha very well, women, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's not something, love my best friends, love my sisters, but it's not something that I feel with them because they've always been around me, right? But it's when you meet when somebody new comes into your life and you feel like you're getting that experience as if you had met them 20 years ago. That is what Aisha brings. Like the level of support, always there. Like it's just, it's kind of like a warm blanket that you can just wrap yourself around. You know, it's just a warm blanket. You're just a warm blanket. But
I appreciate that.
But I really, and I met her not knowing your story. Did not know that. But and I think you've mentioned it too. But why are you that way?
Oh my gosh, it's definitely a gift from my sister. I think it's her living through me every day. I firmly believe in that. I firmly believe that spirits go up and they monitor and they kind of come through you from time to time and they go back up wherever they are placed. But I believe in our ancestors. I believe if you're lifted to a higher power, you take care of the people that are down here on earth, that are sometimes suffering or grieving or wishing you back. And I'm just like, Black women are the bomb at the end of the day. And I think many times we get a bad rap, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Because we are strong, we persevere, we support, we give all that we can since the beginning of time. And I just want to be that conduit to remind you of that. I forget sometimes too, but to remind you, you are capable of doing so many things.
Yeah.
We're not just one monolith. We're not just where we work. We're not just mothers. We're not just sisters. We're all of these things. We're all of these things, and we can do it all in moderation, right?
Yes.
We can be all of that, and we're powerful. And I think many times, and this is for me as well, you lose that along the way. You have this passion when you're young. You sing, you dance, you act, you cook, you do whatever, you say whatever, you get in front of whoever.
Right.
And life,
at some point,
chips and stabs and kicks and trips you along the way, and you forget those things.
Yes. Exactly.
And I pray that my gift is to just uplift, because I know so many people have done it for me, and I'm appreciative of that, and I recognize you reciprocate that gift, and then thereby will keep coming back to you. And so sometimes I don't want to do it. I don't want to support a Black woman in particular. There's some, y'all know who y'all are out there who, give me, the business. But I recognize that many times those women who are giving the business, someone has given it to them.
Yeah.
Someone
it's coming from
them.
A deeper place.
It's coming from a deeper place.
Yes.
And so I'm going to love you like
so
nobody. I'm a bear
shook
you.
I'm gonna shook you
until we come to something. And that doesn't mean we're gonna be friends. That doesn't mean we're gonna love each other forever. But I'm gonna be that person for whatever reason where you can say, Aisha loved me despite all the things. Because again, I was really mean to my mother, and she gave me grace. So I have to be the same way.
Because she gave you life, and she knows she can take it.
Okay, that's true. Grace,
or at least that's what I threaten my kids with. I'll tell them how.
Right. Are you having a moment?
Yes. Because I can take it. Trust me. Anyways.
So that's it. I feel that we're so powerful. We talk about this I've talked about this before. We're so powerful together. The community we have what we need.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Everything was he gave it to you.
Yep.
He gave it to you. You just need to tap into it,
you
right?
Just need
but
to
sometimes we don't know
it.
how.
That's right.
We have absolutely no idea.
That's right.
This is so crazy because today's podcast that just dropped, it's this little thing. I called it this little thing called purpose. I speak on my journey to purpose, and I think I was even fooling myself a little bit. I was a little bit thinking, okay, I found my purpose. I'm walking in it. Everything should be easy breezy, right? Wrong. I could not have been more wrong, because purpose is a journey.
Absolutely.
And there are days when I'm sitting here like, I don't understand what's happening. Why? Why? I'm like, wait a minute. Am I really doing this? Like, it's just so, you're just like, wait a minute. Like, you really have to ask yourself why you are doing this, right? And, but it's so crazy because his timing is always perfect. And he'll send something, or you'll see something, or you'll have a sign, and you're like, I see what you did there.
That's it.
I totally see what you did there. I saw that. And I really feel like for you, I always say there's purpose in your story. And in that story, really, that's where your purpose was birthed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're right on the money.
Mm-hmm.
You're right on the money. And it took a while, right? Like, to shape. And you talk about this, your story, there's purpose in your story. And so that story definitely brought forth what you see today, for sure. It took my own hurtful, hard journey of sisterhood, the brokenness of our sisterhood for me to shape other sisters into a sisterhood. Yes. So I get it. I get it now. Sometimes I'm like, man, God, you had to sacrifice my whole sister. Oh.
He'd be so dramatic
sometimes.
Right. Like, all these extra dramatics are not called for.
Extra
like, he could have kept
it. Jeez. But, recognizing, and I think, again, that came from therapy and just time of what are you here to teach me?
Yes.
What is this here to teach me? Instead of why is this done to me? Why is this happening to me?
Yes.
What is this here to teach me? Oprah says it all the time. And so that's what I live for, is to teach me to be support for other women, to bring them forth and push them forward to their greater powers, their greater goals, their greater dreams.
We definitely feel that. I mean, we have a sister circle at work, and with some amazing, phenomenal young ladies, and it all started with Aisha, just kind of like planting that seed, bringing us together. And I think we knew of each other's power. That's what I want to call it. We knew of each other's power, and we knew how amazing we were, but it took you to bring us together to really truly recognize that, right? So it's like, now, I mean, this group is fierce, y'all. This group can literally take over the world.
That's it.
You know who you are. Sister Circle.
Plan.
Sister Circle unite. So Wakanda forever.
Right. That's the plan.
I'm gonna throw all the things in there. Exactly. Anyway,
women's king.
All of it. Like, just throw it in there. But to be able to, it's so crazy because I kind of feel like. Okay, I kind of feel like we have a superpower together, you and I, and I'm sitting here like, is this what we're gonna be? So we're both eyes, okay? Yes. So if you have ever taken the disc assessment, okay, we were the only two people in the whole group of our team who were like, strong eyes, right? And we're like, people don't appreciate us.
Right, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, so you smart, you got some numbers, but we can influence. Okay, so you're dominant, you're a driver. Okay, whatever. You can lead.
Right.
But we are influencers, and so we were like, it was funny sitting there and like talking up, we're like, we're great too.
We are important.
Don't
important eyes.
Exactly. And we have it was kind of a group of 4 of us who have really kind of worked on putting together the sister circle and building it up or whatever. And then we went to a function a couple of months ago, which was comprised of entrepreneurs from all different areas, industries, or whatever. And we started this entrepreneur groups. And I'm sitting here like, so is this what Aisha and I are going to be doing in life? Right. Like, are we just going to be building? Exactly. Like, building these communities, bringing these communities together, because that's how you elevate. Yes. That's how you support. That's how, and I was just like, oh, It was just crazy because I was thinking about that and I was like, okay, so is this what we're gonna do? We're just gonna go around like building communities. I don't mind.
No, I don't mind. I think it's
really
it's so important. I mean, community is so important. We did it. We've done it for years and centuries. I think, unfortunately with I hate to sound like an old person, but with the social media age, I think there's just been a lot of let me do things on my own. Yes. I got it, strong woman, whatever. But at the end of the day, if you really look back on the times where movement really happened, it was community.
It was
It was community. It wasn't just family, one person. Yes. It was your teacher. It was your neighbor. Yes. Everyone was together. It was your church, whatever it was. So this is not a new concept. No. But I think we're just revitalizing.
Yes, exactly. Or, telling people, hey, you're just reminding people. You're reminding people that, it takes a village.
It literally takes a village.
It really does.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Listen, whenever y'all want to come over here and grab these kids, it's totally fine with me. It takes a village.
It's like a whole sidebar.
Listen.
The village. Come get her kids.
Come get my kids, okay? Village, where art thou?
Oh, Lord.
Come get these kids. Anyway, so now you say you went through a period of time where you were, first of all, it still baffles me that you went through 5 years of just being angry. But in the meantime, you've given somebody organs.
Yes.
Can we talk about that?
Yes.
Like a whole organ. You gave somebody a whole organ.
Right,
in the meantime, you were that angry that you felt like you needed to give organs away.
Well, you know this. Anger and passion live in the same home.
Okay. Yep. So they're two intense emotions. Right.
And so you have to flip the coin.
Yes.
Right. So you're on the passion side or you're on the anger side. But again, they live in the same house.
Right.
People, unfortunately, that kill someone else. They're passionate about that.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's a negative thing. Right. So I think deal with anger. I think I just got it real taken care of with therapy and exercise and learning to channel it in a different direction.
Yeah.
But, in terms of the kidney piece, I did donate my kidney to my cousin who was young again. Here we go with the story. A young male, ran marathons, ate really well for the most part. He was diagnosed with high blood pressure. Okay. Which I think was a little bit hereditary. So, but over years, he was taking medication for that, and then he had gotten this kind of, how they say these certain diseases that are very finite to certain people. So, because of that, side effect from the medication was kidney failure. And so, from that, his kidneys began to fail. At the beginning, very slow. When I say at the beginning, it was about a 5-year span. At the beginning, slow, but towards the end of that 5 years, very fast. Wow. And so it took my uncle, community. It took my uncle, who had been having really candid conversations with him, to say, look, you're not doing well. What's going on here? What do you need? What do you need? And that's always the question, that's the question that I like to ask people, not are you okay? Because people are going to say, yeah, I'm fine, I'm good.
Yeah. You're going to put on your mask, you're going to put on your face. Absolutely. And you're going to say what you think people want to hear. Yes.
So the flip side of it is, what do you need?
Yep.
What do you need? Do you need a smile? Do you need me to make a joke? Do you need me to make a phone call? I may not be able to give you all the needs that you have, but is there something on your list I can assist with? And so my uncle said that to him, and I think he finally broke it down to him, like, I need a kidney.
Wow.
That's what I need.
Look, imagine asking somebody something and they're like, yeah,
I need a kidney.
I need a kidney. Like,
I need a kidney.
Wow.
Right. And so that next question is, well, do you know how to go about that, and how can I help you?
Because, and that's something that I'm a little confused on, because there seems to be like there's certain things where you have to be on a wait list.
Right.
And then there's certain things where you don't. You could just go out and find your own donor for them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And the kidney is the latter.
Yes, it's the latter.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay. So you can get on a list, and God willing, someone becomes a match. Or if you know someone that is willing to do so, and this generally is with the kidney. There's not many other organs, of course, you can give up. And because we have two of them, you didn't know. So just a little quick science, science class. Yes. So anyway, my uncle put out kind of like an APB and was like, hey, family, Jarvis needs a kidney. Anyone willing to at least go get a blood test?
Okay. Yes, because you have to see if you're a match.
To see if you're a match.
Right.
No, don't feel any pressure. Mm-hmm. Don't even have to let me know. Mm-hmm. So of course I'm like, hey, yeah, this is my first cousin. He would do the same for me, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. So let me just take the blood test. You never know. Mm-hmm. So I take the blood test.
Did you really think though? I just want to ask you this. Did you really think that you were going to be a match? Like they were going to call? Hello?
You know what? Honestly, I didn't know. I really didn't know. I didn't say no in my head, but I was like, there's a possibility. But you're right. I was kind of like,
yeah, what's the worst that could happen?
What could happen?
I could be actually matched.
So then a month passes, so I forget. I don't even mention anything to him because, of course, I don't want him to know. Mm-hmm. And a month later, I get a call from the kidney nurse, and she says, hey. Is this Aisha? Yes, it is.
She said,
you're a match. Oh. Ding, ding, ding. The bells go off. No, I'm just kidding. But I go, what? And you would think I would take a deep breath and think it through, but I was so excited. I feel like I won the lottery.
Wow.
I'm the one getting up the kidney. I was so excited. Wow. Because I knew he was getting really, really sick.
Yeah, okay.
Really, really sick. Mm-hmm. And so I was at I had to go to a conference the next day, so I didn't call him.
Of course you did.
In a weird way, I didn't call him. I don't know why. It wasn't because I was.
So you get this news that you're a match, and you don't even call him to tell
anybody. I didn't tell anybody. Then I land in DC, and I'm at a conference, giving this talk, and I get off, and I was like, I never called him.
Oh my goodness!
I didn't call him to tell him. Uh-huh. So I'm in a corner, like trying to shoo away people, and I'm like, Jarvis, I'm a match. And he's like, a match for what? Like, what are we like?
Yes, what are we talking about?
Tinder? Like,
yes. Oh gosh. Swipe right.
Right. I'm like, I'm a match. We match. I can give you a kidney. I can donate my kidney. Goodness. And he was just silent for a while on the phone because I think he just couldn't believe it.
Yes.
Because this had been, at this point, he was getting things delivered to his home to do the dialysis, and he just, probably figured this was his destiny.
Yes.
And he just couldn't believe it. And so roughly, after all the testing and things of that nature, about a year later, give or take.
Took a year.
It took a year. Yeah, it was a lot going on. We did the transplant. And he is doing very, very well.
So he's not back to being active the way he used to be.
His skin color is back. His eyes are clear.
Yeah. We actually, this is a really crazy story, real quick, but we actually had the same situation happen at church. So I was in a life group, and this couple was in this life group as well, and their husband was going through dialysis. Had kidneys, was going through that, like had his own equipment at home. It just got to that point or whatever. And they would in life group we would talk about, how's everybody doing, and we would hear his journey, challenges going through something like that. And he was like, I guess people in the life group started inquiring and asking questions, like, okay, so what do you do? What are your options or whatever? And he was like, same, like Jarvis said, you would have to go get tested to see if you're a match. And then, there could be a potential of me, getting a kidney and that stuff. Well, and I want to say we probably met in this life group was probably together. It probably hadn't even been a year yet that this group was together, and one of the girls in the life group went and got tested. Just went and got tested. She was a match.
Wow.
So here we are in this life group. None of us really know each other, right? She got tested and she gave him a kidney. And crazy enough is, this was probably less than a month ago. I ran into him in my neighborhood and I was like, what? And he was like, oh my gosh. I was like, do you live here? Because he lives a ways from here, but he's been doing amazing ever since. Not only that, so that's one story. The other one is there was a couple who had a child. Very, very rough pregnancy, to the point to where after She had the child. The doctors pretty much told her, they said, you can't do this again. Like, you can't. Like, so it is totally out of the question for you to bear children. Right? And so then I guess they started taking a look at options or whatever. I'm not very familiar with all of the details, but there was another couple. Like, this is the couple that's actually leading our life group.
Okay.
And they had 2 children already, maybe 3. Can't remember. I lose count. So many kids. She volunteered.
Wow.
She volunteered to care, and she had twins for this group, and they became best friends.
I'm telling you, community.
Exactly.
Community. What do you need? When you're in that community.
I need you to carry these twins real quick.
Listen,
imagine that. Somebody might actually do it.
So if someone is willing to do that, hopefully you are getting from this story.
Yes.
If you develop a community and put out what you need, you will be amazed
by how that community will step up for you.
You'll be amazed. Yes. This woman was willing to have twins for someone.
Had twins for this couple, and their children grew up. The children are growing up together. They're still very close friends. Became best friends. Like, yes,
that's the moral of the story. That is the
power of community.
That is the power. Mm-hmm. So if you release the fear, and I was just having a conversation with a colleague this morning, because I'll be real, I have fear too. I have fear. I had fear with giving a kidney. I had fear that I was going to get breast cancer. I mean, if we could tie all of this together. But if you release that fear and go and get the support you need and ask for what you need, it will return. It will. I'm a firm believer. It will.
Yeah. So, so what are some things that you would put out there or suggest or tell our listeners, if they're going through, if they know someone that's going through a very difficult health journey, what do you feel, other than what you just mentioned, what do you feel are some of the things that they could do to help support? Because I think sometimes it's like, we just don't know what to do, right? Like, we want to support, we want to be there for that person, and we try to do it our own way, and our own way may not necessarily be the right way. So what would be some things that you would tell the listeners? Like,
I think one thing that's easy, and I've said it in the beginning, but I'll repeat it, is being a walking billboard. I think being a walking billboard brings people to you. That way you're not overthinking what to do for that person. I'll just say, whenever I wear my pink, people come.
Yes.
Even where we work, someone came to me and said, thank you. Thank you for wearing that. Because they had gone through their own journey of having breast cancer. And sometimes that's just enough.
Yes.
That is enough.
Exactly.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That is enough acknowledgement. If you want to take it a step further, send someone a nice note. Just send them a note. I'm thinking of you. Cross my mind. Hope all is well. Praying for you. Thinking of you. Encouraging you. Just share, read this and thought of you.
Yes.
That's enough too.
Yes.
I think we, as we know, you have to be all out there. I gotta be doing a walk. I gotta be sending you flowers.
You feel like you need to do the whole 9 yards. It's all or nothing, right? So if I can't do the whole thing, then I'm not gonna do anything.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I have learned, this is what from learning. That doesn't mean I did it right in the beginning. Because I was the same. I was like, I gotta do the walk. I gotta take people to their treatments. I have to, make sure everyone has got their mammogram. I mean, the whole 9. But life is lifing.
Yes.
And that's okay, because we all have our own past. Just as best you can, acknowledging the person, recognizing the person. This is the work I do in DEI. Letting people know they're seen and heard. That's it. That's it. Even if it's putting a post on social media. Yeah. Like in the month of October, I make sure I have a post with a ribbon. You see my car tag.
Yep.
Things of that nature. I try to just be a walking billboard. Yes. And then from that point, I can figure out what the next step is to navigate and negotiate. Yep.
Absolutely. Wow. Well, oh my gosh.
I know. We closed out the month.
I know we did, but there are so many. I just want to tell the listener, I absolutely love this woman right here. She's amazing, right. And when I say I will be stalking you for the rest of my life,
we don't know now who's stalking who.
That is a commitment. committing to the stalking. I don't know if you are, but I am committed. I'm very much committed to the stalking. But I think you're amazing. Like I said, you're like a warm blanket. I've never felt outside of my circle, right? And my circle don't have a choice. Yeah, support me or whatever. You just don't have a choice. But outside of my circle, to have someone like I said, complete stranger when I met you, to have a complete stranger come around and say, I'm going to support you whether you like it or not. And I'm like, okay, what's going to happen? Is she really going to do this? And to see somebody talk the talk and walk the walk is absolutely amazing. So I want to thank you for that, for being an advocate for others, for their voices, for their health, for being a walking billboard. So many people need that. And I love that you said it doesn't have to be a grand gesture. It doesn't have to be this big thing, because oftentimes we feel like that's what's going to be more impactful.
Right.
And to be honest with you, just to pick up the phone and send somebody a text that takes 2 seconds would actually be more impactful.
Absolutely.
So think about that. And like we said earlier today, there's so much power in community. So much power in there. And there's purpose in your story. I will end with that. Thank you, listeners, for hanging out with us today. I hope you guys had as much fun as we did in today's episode. I always have fun, but I have special fun with this young lady right here. Don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe. The glow link is in the show. We'll even, knowing that, yes, this is on the heels, by the time it comes out, it's going to be on the heels of Breast Cancer Month, but I will include breast cancer information in the show notes as well, because it's a monthly thing. Ladies, you know, we have to be diligent. Ladies, everyone, men, women, whoever you are, you have to be diligent about checking that, because I will tell you, had it not been for my sister, we might have caught my mom too late. So it is by the grace. And so I love that we are mindful of that. We but stay aware, whether it's October or not. Just make sure, have those checkups, make sure you stay on top of them. So thank you so much. We're dropping new episodes every Monday. And I love for you all to come inside the bubble with me and listen and hear these amazing, inspirational individuals that are coming on the show. So until next time, peace out. Bye. I hope you enjoyed our show today. Hit the subscribe button and share. Share this pod with your family, with your friends, with your girlfriends, and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Inside the Bubble with HG. Keep the conversation going. Drop us a heart emoji. Engage with us. We would love to hear from you. New episodes are dropping every Monday on your podcast streaming platforms. And remember, there's purpose in your story.